Okay, let us continue with our discussion on the topic evaluation of mutually exclusive alternatives. And we are dealing with service projects, and we are comparing the cost of each alternative or project. So let's try to solve uh, problem one. Okay, an illustrative problem. Just illustrate how to use the different methods we have discussed in the previous video. So a company is considering two types of equipment for its manufacturing plant. Pertinent data are as follows. So we have two types of equipment. We have type A and type B. So type B for the initial cost or first cost is more expensive for about for 100,000. So difference of 100,000. And we have the annual operating cost natin. So sabi ko kanina or sa previous video that usually pag mas mahal initially, mas mura siya sa mas mura na yung operations and maintenance cost niya. Okay. At yung mga mas mura initially ay mas mahal naman yung operations and maintenance cost. Although that's not always the case naman But usually ganun naman yung mga machines natin. Okay? So for labor cost to operate the machines ito. And then insurance and property taxes. Kapag insurance and property taxes, usually that's a percentage of the first cost. So 3% of the first cost natin. And then payroll taxes, since payroll yan, that means a percentage of the labor cost naman. So labor cost yan. And estimated life is 8 years for both machines. Then annual depreciation is, ito yung annual depreciation natin. And of course, so parehas silang 8 years. So sir, paano kapag yung isa, for example, yung type B ay mas mahaba ang estimated life niya, like for example, 10 years, no? So we have several methods to deal with that. So magkaiba yung service life or estimated life ng dalawang equipment or machine. So maybe you can choose, although we will discuss later on how to deal with this type of problem. O later on na lang, meron tayong topic to we have a certain topic na i-discuss natin itong ganitong situations where uh, the other alternatives ay iba yung service life niya or estimated life. Okay. So if the minimum required rate of return or MARR set by the company is 15%, which equipment should be selected? So is it type A or type B? Mas mura initially yung type A, pero mas mahal naman yung type B. Pero mas mura naman yung type B in terms of the annual cost, operations and maintenance cost. No? We'll see. So we're going to use the different methods we have mentioned in the previous video. So let's start with the rate of return on additional investment method. So sa formula natin in computing for the rate of return on additional investment, we need to solve for the annual savings. So since one alternative is more expensive in terms of the annual cost, no? In this case, apparently, type B is less expensive, or type A is more expensive in terms of the annual and annual operations and maintenance cost compared to type B. Okay, so meron siyang, if I choose type B, then meron akong masasave sa annual operations and maintenance cost. Okay? At i-compute din natin of course yung savings natin. Okay? Kapag pinili natin yung type A, syempre, na mas makakatipid ako ng 100,000 kapag pinili ko yung type A. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, we're going to compute now the ratio of the annual savings if I choose type B and the initial savings if I choose type A. Okay? So, we need to compute those two quantities. So, let's solve first for the annual cost for type A. So, depreciation, given na yan. operations given, then labor given. Payroll and taxes is 4% of the labor cost, which is 2,000 in this case. And then taxes and insurance costs would be 3% of the initial cost, which is 200,000 in this case. For type B, we have corresponding values of depreciation, operations, and labor. Payroll taxes is also computed similarly, no, to type A. It's 4% of the labor cost, and then taxes and insurance is 3% of the initial cost. So this would be the annual cost for each type. So mas mura yung annual cost sa type B compared to type A, no? And then annual savings natin, so iso-subtract lang natin yung type A and then type B. So if I choose type B, ito yung masasave ko annually. So, yan. And then additional investment natin. So if I choose type B then, magkakaroon ako ng additional investment na 100,000. Kasi nga mas mahal yung type B ng about 100,000. So 300,000 yung type B, type A is 200,000. So the difference would be 100,000. So i-compute lang natin yung ratio nito, multiply it by 100. So that would be, so ito na yan. So 18,794 divided by 100,000 times 100, that's 18.79%. That is greater than 15%. Okay, yun yung MARR set by the company. So that means that if I choose type B, mas maganda. Or mas magandang piliin ko yung type B because that would give me a rate of return that is greater than what the company have set, no? So type B should be selected. Okay, that's the first method. Second method is using the annual cost method. So sa annual cost method naman, we're going to solve the annual cost of each equipment. So type A, so depreciation, operation, labor, similar to what we have done in the first method. Ang nagkaiba lang is that mayroon tayong inclusion dito, interest on capital. Ganun din sa type B, meron tayong interest on capital. So ano yung interest on capital? That is, since ang company have set an MARR, it's equivalent to 15%. So kunin natin yan. So dapat minimum na parang dito, magigain ng company every year is 15% of the initial cost. Okay. As the minimum. So every year yan, that's a minimum gain, okay, from the initial investment natin. So it's 15% of the initial investment or the capital or the principal. This is 30%, 30,000 in this case for type A. And for type B naman, it's 15% of 300,000 is 126,056 pesos. Okay, and sorry, 45,000. That should be 45,000. And then compute for the total annual cost. So parang isinali natin yung dapat na minimum na magigain ng company when investing for type A and investing for type B. Okay, which is 15% of the initial investment. So we have a total of 129,850 for type A, and for type B we have 126,056 pesos. So in this case again, okay, type B should be selected kasi nga mas mura yung annual cost. Okay, annual cost niya. Okay. Next method is the present worth of all cost method. Present worth cost method. Okay. So, sa present worth of all cost method or the PWC method, we are now going to compute for the present worth of all costs. So, meron tayong initial cost plus yung annual cost, annual operations and maintenance cost natin. Okay? So, i-convert natin lahat yon into its equivalent present worth or present cost, and i-compare natin yung dalawang present cost, no? So, ito yung ating cash flow diagram. So, meron tayong cost na 200,000 dito, yung initial investment natin. And then the annual cost, so similar to what we have done in the first two methods. Okay, ang kwan lang dito, we're going to exclude the depreciation. So the computation for the annual cost would be, we're going to exclude the depreciation. So 32,000, ito yung ating labor cost, and then insurance and taxes. And then we have an annual cost of 90,000. So ito yung ating cash flow diagram, initial cost natin, and then the annual cost natin. We're going to solve for the present worth of all these costs. So with that, ito yung ating formula. So we have P, of course. So since nasa present naman na siya, we don't need to convert that to its present cost or present value. Ito ang compute natin. So it's an annuity. So the present cost of an annuity, ito na yan. Yung formula natin. No? So 10 years yan. And yung ating MARR is 15%. Ayan, 15% as set by the company. So we have 200,000 and then we have ito. So the present worth of all costs for type A is 651,689.176 pesos. Okay? And then for type B naman, so for type B, wait lang. So for type B, the same, parang the same procedure. We're going to solve for the annual cost of type B excluding the depreciation. Okay? So ito na yung annual cost natin. It's 66,280. Okay, and this would be the cash flow diagram. So initially, we have 300,000 pesos na investment. And then meron tayong annual operations and maintenance cost na 66,280. So the same pa rin, no? We're going to solve for the present worth of all this cost. So we have the principal here and then the present worth of the annuity. So the present worth of all costs for project B or equipment B is 632,643.9845 pesos. So which one is cheaper? Okay. So 651,000 ito. Ito ay 632,000. So type B is cheaper. Okay. So since PWCB is less than PWCA, for the same period of time, type B should be selected because it's cheaper. Cheaper. Cheaper cost. Ayan. So next is, what is the next method? The equivalent uniform annual cost method. Okay? So, sa previous method natin, convert natin yung uh, annual cost to present cost. Dito naman sa susunod na method natin, i-convert naman natin yung present, yung principal natin, yung first cost natin into an equivalent uh, uniform, no? Annual cost. I-add natin later on yung annual cost natin. So for type A, ito yung cash flow diagram natin for type A. No? We have, ito galing to sa previous na method natin. We have solved na kasi yung annual cost kanina. For type A, we have 90,000. Okay. And then, we have an initial cost of 200,000. So, gagawin natin yung 200,000. Gagawin lang nating annuity. And then, i-add natin dito sa may annual maintenance, operations and maintenance cost. Ito. So, what would be the equivalent uniform annual cost of type A? So, with that, so we're going to convert this annuity of itong present cost na or the initial investment or initial cost natin is na 200,000. Okay? So, i-add lang natin to kasi since annuity naman na to, no? So, ito, gawin nating annuity plus yung annual cost natin na 90,000. So, we have 200,000 15% yung ating MARR, so 10 years pa rin, plus 90,000. So the equivalent uniform annual cost for type A is 129,850 0.4125 pesos. Okay? Next is, hope you have understood this. So, convert lang natin ito, into an equivalent annuity or annual cost. Then, in-add natin itong annual cost natin na 90,000. So, the result would be this value. Okay, the same procedure would be done sa type B. So, we have computed this in the previous method. So, annual cost natin is 66,280 pesos. So, the same procedure, we're going to convert 300,000 yung first cost natin into an equivalent annual cost. Then, i-add lang natin yung annual cost natin dito. Okay? So, so ito na. Ito na yung, i-convert na natin yung principal natin or the initial cost, first cost, into an equivalent annuity. And then, i-add lang natin yung annual cost natin. And the resulting value is our equivalent uniform annual cost for type B is equivalent to 126,000 pesos, 126,055.6188 pesos. So whichever is cheaper would be chosen. So which is cheaper? So type A is 129,000, type B is 126,000. So obviously B is cheaper, so less cost. So it is selected then. Okay. So all methods tells us that type B would be selected. Okay. Problem number 2 would be presented using in the next video na lang. Okay.